What is up, guys? And today I'm going to be giving you an educational commentary on Fortnite Season 3 and kind of how to help you get your first one if you haven't not gotten it yet. As always, before we begin the video, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss more content like this. Yeah, um, let's talk about my guide to help you win your first Season 3 match as my educational commentary. So as you'll see here in the gameplay in the background, I'll be doing these things throughout the match, but I'm just kind of going to be explaining what I've been doing or what I'm thinking in the middle of the match, what I'm trying to do. Um, so first of all, where do I like to land? I like to land at either Supernova Academy, Punch Power, or this little uh house area, which I think is north of Pump Power, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I like landing there because it's near a lot of shrines, which are going to be very important this season. Sometimes there's even shard things you can get, kind of like the Shogun X things um, that gave you mythics in Chapter 6, Season 1, but a little bit more safer because you're not as vulnerable. They're not like in the middle of the open. They spawn right off the top, out of the match. I think these locations are just good for really the shrines. It's easy to get mobility this way. It's a lot harder to get mobility the other way. It's basically guaranteed mobility, meaning that you're going to be able to get it every single time. Um, it's really nice to have this mobility season, especially because it can be a real struggle. But the Supernova Academy is a nice POI. It's got a lot of loot. There's plenty of loot. There's a lot of people there, but I think it's definitely a POI that you can get taken care of fine. Especially if you have a scanner, you have big advantage. And there's often a shrine around Supernova Academy, and there's a lot of car spawns, and I'd recommend having a car because I like to start the early game is when you get into a car, you can now go to the new location where the shrines are, or the spawn location. Um, and you have to use the dash sprites. What I like to do with these dash sprites before I put them into the shrine is I like to throw them down so that I can get 3 dashes because those can be very helpful in a fight. Um, and then when you put these into the shrine, they'll give you 4 shockwaves, which is really helpful. I like to do that as one of my first things in the match because I have 4 shockwaves, which shockwaves are a very valuable thing to have this season. You can also find in certain loot areas, it's not 100% spawn, but you can definitely find the best, the base boost item, or the base boost, okay, and you can find that be blue or purple, you never know. I prefer the purple. The purple has more durability, lasts longer, which is really helpful this season. Base boost is a great mobility item. Um, and my tips with the base boost is that this thing, it's a very different like mobility item. So if you're traveling north, for instance, and you want to continue north, what you have to do is you need to turn in a 360 to your south and then what you want to do is you want to be in the air and then you want to hit the right trigger button on controller, which launches you. And then you can turn back to the direction that you were going. That's the best way to travel with this thing, in the most efficient way. If you don't jump and you do the right trigger button, it's not going to work out. Left trigger one can send you launching, but it's not as doesn't send you as far. It doesn't send you as good of distance. I feel like the right trigger just helps you control where you want to go because I think there's certain situations with the limited mobility of third parties where you just want to be going to certain places at certain times, and it's really important to do that. And it's really nice. I will say the one thing that you should avoid doing with these base boost items, I would not go running at these things and go right at people with no damage. With a disadvantage, if your opponent has a right peek and you're running at somebody, I recommend not doing that. I've gotten some freebies from people doing this. It's really hard for people to win a fight against you unless maybe they're weak, or excuse me, it's hard for you to win a fight against your opponent if you're growing very aggro and don't have the advantage in the fight or the right peak advantage unless your opponent's weak. That's the only time I would push is if you have damage you have a weak opponent. Otherwise, if you do not have a right hand peak, you're going at somebody who has a right hand peak and they have full health, you are likely going to die. Um, Also, something that's important to know is the pickaxe trick is not in the game. Uh, this is really annoying. I really don't know why Fortnite removed the pickaxe trick. I really like the pickaxe trick. I think that it's a convenient way of stopping players from just running away with cars. It's really a bit annoying at this point. Is you can't just go into a car and pickaxe somebody. They can just run away all they want if they get weak. Uh, I've made the joke that this is the season of running because it kind of is. And I think the way to deal with people who run away in cars is just let them go because there's so much limited mobility. Or if you just try to chase somebody and you overchase, you're just going to get third party and likely die and have a disadvantage at the person who's third partying you. Just don't do that at all. It's a really bad idea for these fights that you can get into. All right. And then after I get the shockwaves from the spreads from the shrines, um, before I get the shockwaves from the spreads from the shrines, if I have a good enough level up thing, there are underneath areas in the Supernova Academy, door areas. So like I believe it's the A door has a mythic hyperburst pistol. I don't like this gun that much, but it's worth noting if you like using that gun. So the most confusing thing for a lot of people is how do these tier ranks work? They're not that complicated, I don't think, you guys. Basic thing with the tier ranks that I want you to remember, and it's very simple, is just make sure that at all times, um, you get fights and you just level up. Get into fights. Get comfortable fighting this season because getting kills will give you a lot of points. You actually get points from putting sprites into shrines. Don't do the Superman ones because those are not good for that. But the dash sprites are good to put into the shrine because they actually do give you points for your ranking. Um, all NPC slash boss kills gives you points as well. Um, and yeah, that's kind of how you're gonna get points this season from doing that. It's very basic. Also, survive storm circles are helpful, but that's not gonna really make you go far. I like how these are balanced. It's not like if you have C tier and you have a rough match and you don't get into fights and you play very scared and hide all game. It's not like if you have C tier that you're automatically going to lose to S tier. You're just likely to have less loot. Um, I really like the way that they've made loot this season, where you have to get high. You have to do certain objectives in the match that aren't really tough to do, but basically it rewards better play. Well, not better play. It rewards you being more active in the match. That's probably the word I'm looking for. It rewards you for being more active. So the more active you are, the more things you do to gain points, the better. Because the loot is earned, and it's very rewarding what you can get. If you can just start off spawn and get 7 kills off spawn, and, get a sprite shrine in, and get a boss kill, get a medallion, maybe 2. I mean, by mid-game, you could have an S tier loadout, where you have a mythic shotgun, not a mythic shotgun, a gold shotgun, gold AR, maybe mythic because you got the medallion, I don't know. Um, But I think that's very important. Also, something to note is that at the building that is just north of the Demon's Domain POI, there is a NPC named Robin who sells a green shot grappler. I would not land here off spawn though. It's really risky. If there's a lot of people here, it's kind of a gamble for who gets it, and whoever doesn't get it is likely to die. This situation. So I would not go for that unless you have an uncontested drop. But it's 600 gold, so it's pricey. Also at Pumped Power, there is a NPC who sells shockwaves. I heard there's one at Supernova Academy. I haven't seen it. I can't confirm that, but I can confirm there's an NPC at Pumped Power who sells shockwaves. It's 300 gold for 2, which is very pricey. So I think the better idea is just go into the shrines, save your gold. These things will be, we can spend all of our gold late in the season, but I would not do that at this moment. And also, last but not least, I highly recommend going for the Island Medallion in mid game, because if you get against if you're a good player, a good move, and have good movement, you can be very hard to fight with this medallion, since it gives you invisibility when you sprint jump, and you even get kind of this low gravity effects that lets you go higher and faster, which makes your movement really, really strong. It's really good, and really useful and really helpful for you. And I definitely recommend doing this. I would not recommend using the DMR, but I definitely recommend using the medallion. And now, last but not least, let's talk about loadouts. So this season, I think the best shotgun, the best shotgun run this season is the Sentinel Pump Shotgun. This has always been the good shotgun. The Sentinel's always been good all chapter. The Twin Fire Auto Shotgun is a very mid auto shotgun. It's a lot. It's too inconsistent for me to like. And then the Outlaw Shotgun is just a very high risk, high reward shotgun. You can't really play off cover and get good damage. You have to be barrel stuffing people in the face. It's not a great shotgun for that. Um, And then I like to use the Spire rifle. The Spire rifle is really good. I really like the Spire rifle. Um, this gun is really, really good. I recommend top firing it because if you do that, you're going to have first shot accuracy almost all the time, which makes this gun really useful to use, and I definitely use it. And then I talked about the base boost item. You definitely want to get this purple. And if you fight the little demon things that can spawn, that give you potential exotics, um, those gives you a guaranteed purple base boost, and I definitely look to fight those as well. Plus, you can get shockwaves guaranteed from the shrines. So just doing objectives through the season is really the main tips I have because it's going to give you the best loot that this season has. But nonetheless, that is everything, all the tips that I have for you right now on the start of the season. I'll probably give some more tips as we go on about everything happening, with updates and stuff. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoy this. Let me know if this helps you get your first win in Season 3. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.